So we are back once again for another rousing edition of the Carvoyant Connected Carcast. It's Mike Maney, and I'm here with Bret Tobey, the CEO and founder of Carvoyant. And Bret, I know we've had a little bit of a fun week with a lot of stuff going on. You guys have been out on the West Coast doing some meeting with partners and doing a little bit of hacking, but like you said, there's a little bit going on over in the land of Gowdy and not Kurt Gowdy.
Yeah, it was one of the challenges of being a startup is that you end up with 5 meetings and 3 people to cover them. Unfortunately, the meeting that was most attractive socially is the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. So we've got some of our investors and advisors are over there working on our behalf because we've been knee-deep with developers. And unfortunately, you can't punt supporting developers to somebody else. So
no jamon iberico for Bret.
No, it's painful because we've got some development partners there too. So I almost could justify it, but between South by Southwest next week and the fact that we've got some companies that we're launching, it made more sense for us to stay local, at least for me. But boy, that was painful watching those Twitter feeds coming from Barcelona.
I've been there a couple of times for Mobile World Congress, and that was a hard one to miss this year.
Well, but especially with my like smart card and crypto roots, that's that and Cart in Paris are 2 ones that you would always go, you know what, let's see if we can swing through that one.
Exactly.
But so on the connected car front, though, we starting about a week ago today have been toe-to-toe with developers. We were one of the API sponsors of the Launch Hackathon. I have to say that is becoming hands down one of the best curated pools of developers. I mean, everybody in the room could spin out an app. The way they ran it was just outstanding. We really enjoyed it. Got some good, just even fuzzy benefits. So we went over to REI and bought some COTS. And
nice.
So we had some developers who were quite happy when they hit the middle. It took me a while to find out where the rest of those COTS were. But that was exactly what they were there for, was to kind of make it a little bit softer on developers, like we're trying to do with the API set. So we had fun stuff. We had people playing with some of the event APIs for the first time. We had 2 really good teams that won, and then we've reached a point where, frankly, we're very lucky, quite fortunate to be at, where we actually had one of the teams that started working with the API last November actually went public on stage at the Launch Festival.
Who was that? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Actually, we were allowed to talk about them now. So Vehicle, the Vehicle app, they're actually up on Ramen. So another person that launched, or a company that launched on stage at the Launch Festival was, so you go to ramen.is, is where you can see they're doing a little bit of a crowdfunding. I think they just went up yesterday on that, and Vehicle's on there. The cool thing about Vehicle is they really highlight what we've been hoping for all along, is that instead of a bunch of Me Too features, people are doing some wildly divergent things. So Vehicle, bunch of roommates sharing a car. The car knows where it's being driven. Everybody plunks down a credit card, and you get an automatic cost allocation for car sharing, or you can actually share with friends or friends of friends. So it's more about the way, can you build a business model around the way people actually share cars? Mm-hmm. And I like it because it works with a network of 1 car or 100 cars or 1,000 cars. So you don't have to get to like some crazy network density. You just got to have a few roommates sharing a car, and all of a sudden it's not about hounding somebody for gas money or anything like that. So I think Vehicles, there's a lot to Vehicle, and it's one of those ones where they couldn't have done it definitely in this time frame without leveraging some of the stuff that we did. So it's really satisfying to watch the buzz that those guys generated. Got a lot of good feedback at the Launch Festival. And then actually Ramen is that's a tool, more of a software. The tagline was Kickstarter for software development, but it's actually more valuable from their ongoing engagement perspective. So can you get people engaged with software projects that find some of those key early backers and really get some good feedback. So if you're into agile development, Ramen is a tool you absolutely ought to go look at. There's going to be a couple other Carvoyant companies that are going to be up on there. Actually, 2 that we came across last weekend. One, they won our slice of the hackathon. One is this really cool kind of spot market for towaway zones called Park-A-Lot, which, having spent half an hour driving around looking for a spot between VC meeting and trying to get into the Launch Hackathon in time to catch Vehicle, I would have paid for it.
I lived 2 years in Hoboken. I know exactly what you're talking about. and
Exactly.
I have paid the fines and the towing fees.
Oh yeah, and that's the kind of market where if you're the guy with the spot, and so what they do is they have the car connected, and then that when the car's gone, they send a little text message, and if the owner of the spot says, yeah, I'm open now, and it may be something they do regularly, so we can help them with analyzing where they go normally. That's a slam dunk. And then another one that I really liked a lot was, first of all, I love the name. It's called Road Rules, and they're rolling out. It's basically IFT for connected cars, and we'll work with IFT and Zapier and other rules engines. But there's a lot of things that you can do if you're really kind of focused just on connected cars. So we really look forward to working with those guys. So Dave, Liz, good stuff. Really impressed with that.
Well, I think that's kind of interesting. Is you have Carvoyant has a different model and focus on developers. It seems like you're a layer down in the the serious or in the code part of the data.
Yeah,
to expose it, right?
You think of what Vehicle. So if Vehicle had wanted to do something from scratch, and they've got Vehicle and Park a Lot both have clear value propositions where short, very, very short payback. If you're rolling out a connected car app for the developer, for the car owner, it would have taken them, best case scenario, 6 months. So we're knocking 6 months out of their product development cycle.
Man.
And because we're hardware neutral, we'll help them get into that as they want to. But our goal is not to make money on selling the. We like the plumbing connections, the data connections. So we're finally seeing tangible products. We can say, hey, go look at this, and go look at this, and go look at this. And that makes it a nice distinction. And it's not all consumer apps. We had there's a. Renzo's down at Evans Hackamotive, so he's still recovering from his red eye, which is why we're the two of us right now. Down there with a company, it's called VinSnap, and they're doing, I'm probably going to massacre their pitch, but it's basically Zillow for cars. So they make me move. What's this car worth? And turns out there's a huge spot market, dealers looking for inventory in specific areas. Other drivers, instead of putting this for sale by owner sign in the window and just driving around. So I really like that, and that one's more of an enterprise play than this straight consumer play. So we don't know what they're going to do with connected cars, and that's why we see another press release from somebody else. We're like, oh, it's somebody else to work with. Whether they're getting cars connected or writing a good app, we want to kind of normalize all that. So stuff we get passionate about. If you're not into connected cars, it might be a little bit arcane, but the nice thing is you don't have to be a connected car developer anymore to add some connected car spice and maybe make your existing apps more efficient. But it also lets us get into a lot of fun discussions like we hope to be having at South by Southwest next week.
Yep.
Even some of the stuff like this week we had Automatic.
They did an announcement with EFT.
Yeah, so that's a good, hey, they've got a slice. That's a good, Automatic's really going to appeal to some people. And in some of our discussions this week, we had a VC say, well, what do you guys, do you see somebody like that as a competitor? And it's like, well, it's kind of like comparing BlackBerry. You asked Twilio if BlackBerry's a competitor. No, Automatic's doing some nice, elegant stuff, and we actually have used it and liked it. Mm-hmm. But we're more about the breadth of what you can do, much like Twilio. So what can we do to help the developers? How many of these things can we get? Because whatever somebody else may really care for another one more.
That's a good analogy. The BlackBerry and Twilio. Yeah,
it's I'm sure Twilio bears no ill will towards BlackBerry. We just got other things to focus on. But so at South by Southwest, we're actually going to be there in the Circus Maximus, and yes, crazy floating around. So we'll be with Evans.com. What can we do with mashups of different information flows around cars? And we've got some of our developer partners will be there incognito, maybe not so incognito. We're still waiting to hear where they are with some of their stuff. So it's going to be a fun few weeks, and we're definitely going to be buying some connected car beer. So if there's anybody who wants to talk connected cars, needs to learn more about it, one of the fun things is we don't necessarily have all the answers, but we tend to know who those folks are. And as the plumbers, we don't have to. It's not about selling our stuff necessarily. It's about, can we move the whole thing along? So
great.
I'm I know there's a connected car. There's a panel on distribution and another one on security. So we're security paranoids. We'll definitely be at the security panel. Got to wait and see what the counter looks like for distribution. So
just saw there was another API Hack Days coming up too, focused on auto.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's getting hot. It's getting really hot.
It's getting hot. So you'll find us there. Actually, if there are folks who are running events, meetups, things like that, we've got a lot of demands on our time right now. But we are working towards getting a nice pile of, here's what you can do with a connected car. So add a little connected car spice to your hack days or whatever else it happens to be.
Nice. Well, thanks a lot for your time. It's been busy, been exciting, and it sounds like it is about to crank back up again. After you've had a nice 2-minute nap.
Did it crank down? Because I mean,
nah.
it hasn't been. We've been going full throttle, but we're having fun. People are doing some really neat stuff. So cool.
To get as cliched and corny as possible, keep the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, absolutely, and try to drive safely with those snow tires on up there. So.
Oh, I don't even think we'll be able to get out this time.
Good
Thanks
luck,
a lot, Bret.
Catch you later, Mike. Bye.